As Lucas County Sheriff's Deputy Alan Gaston enters the IRS office, he's in full uniform with his badge and his firearm visible. He's on duty May 31st, but says he stopped at the office for a phone number to ask about a letter he got from the IRS. Deputy Gaston says the guard told him he needed to put his gun in his car. Gaston said he couldn't do that. The conversation ends with a gun pointed at the deputy's back. Gaston vividly remembers that moment.
Basically preparing myself to be shot at that moment, bracing for a shot. It's in my bag.
The whole thing caught on security camera as the guard follows Deputy Gaston to the elevator with the gun out, and it appears his finger very close to the trigger. The guard then tries to take Gaston into custody, once again with the gun drawn.
There's really no way to it. You know how you're going to act when there's a gun pointed at you and when you think you're going to lose your life.
Gaston works as a defensive tactics instructor. He said,
"Citizens of the free world, I am Hoverman Cop, defender of justice, defender of the people, defender of the earth. In Lucas County, Ohio, a sheriff deputy by the name of Alan Gaston goes to the IRS building in uniform on duty and is approached by a security guard inside that building by the name of Seth Eklund. Seth Eklund is demanding and telling this deputy, who is a state Ohio licensed law enforcement officer with the backing of that state on his side, this security guard, who is employed by some security agency with no authority to tell a deputy to remove his weapon from his person and put it in the vehicle. Now, this security guard tells this deputy that, and the deputy, with all respect, remains professional, tells this security guard that that will not happen and walks away to go back to the elevator after he receives some information inside that RS building regarding some paperwork. This, out of nowhere, security guard does the unthinkable, because now this security guard has become enraged, fully demonic filled, expresses his evil and his intent by doing the first thing wrong. His approach and his questioning and his conversation with that deputy was wrong from the beginning. This is indicative to many police officers who wear the badge and the uniform, approaches citizens with a bad attitude and with the intentions to bring problems and to bring harm to citizens. This security guard shows and reveals many attitudes and behaviors of so many corrupt officers, from chiefs of police to captains, lieutenants, sergeants, and many police officers who are degrading and embarrassing and shaming the name of the badge that we were all sworn to protect and serve the citizens across this country. This security guard, enraged and in anger because he was told what that deputy was not going to do, he puts his hand on his own weapon, draws his weapon, his finger close to the trigger, and points his weapon towards this on-duty deputy who has his weapon to protect himself. He could have pointed his gun at that security guard, but this deputy, thankfully, he did not, because I know as much as you know that that would not have been a good scene, nor a good situation, and it probably would not have worked out for the good for this deputy. But this deputy did not do it, while this maniac, this insane security guard, draws out his weapon, follows this deputy to the elevator, and not only that, while he has his gun in his hand, his finger close to the trigger, moving that weapon towards that deputy, could have fired that weapon off by accident or intentionally, puts his other hand and touches this deputy, blocking this deputy from getting on the elevator. So this security guard not only could have endangered the deputy, but this security guard could have shot and injured his own self in rage to that own deputy. Do you see what is going on? This security guard has no common sense. He is a danger not only to the deputy, he is a danger to himself. Not only is he a danger to the deputy, a danger to himself, he could have fired, accidentally shot someone else in that building while he has his finger close to that trigger that could have gone off and shot someone close in proximity in that building. Now, my question is, how in the world can an IRS agency employ, hire, and has a security guard who has lacked all common sense and training to even be hired and positioned in an IRS building? That is indicative to many police departments, just as that IRS building. There are many people in every city who is sick and tired of seeing leaders hire and allow crooked, wicked, evil officers like that security guard run around, run amok in security agencies, police agencies, and in all forms of agencies where we have people of authority abusing their authority and nothing is being done about it. This security guard should never be employed again as a security guard. This security guard should never even think about even having a job or being hired by any security agency for the rest of his life. Something is seriously wrong when we see, when we know something is terribly wrong, because not only are we seeing problems, harm, and danger, and criminal actions, evil actions from police officers, we are seeing it from security guards. This security guard, just by looking at him, you could tell that he was an issue and a problem. Why is it would he even have gloves on inside of an IRS building? Why would he even automatically jump to a conclusion that he thinks that he can draw his gun on another deputy? So this security guard must have been watching too many movie episodes in his lifetime, wearing gloves inside of a building as if he's going to have some type of tactical or aggressive encounters with individuals inside that building. Secondly, this security guard, you can look and tell that his actions and behavior is indicative that something in him is mentally off by his body language. This security guard should have never been employed. This security guard should have never been given the right to even have a gun. And something tells me about this security guard that he has had some encounters with individuals in that IRS building before and probably has some complaints. This security guard was waiting for his moment in time, and he finally had an opportunity to have some type of fantasy action on his part to prove as though if he is a police officer when he's just a security guard, and took his own authority out of context and abused what little authority he did have against a deputy who was on duty doing his job, and remained calm in the midst of this dangerous situation that he was faced with that security guard. I have nothing else to say but this. That security guard you saw, I revoke your right, and I come to you with the warrant from the kingdom of heaven. In your judgment, your actions are indicative that you should never wear a gun around your waist, neither come close to having any contact with individuals across this country. As a security guard, you should never wear one again.